Hi there, this video comes with some exercise files and a cheat sheet for Photoshop. There'll be a link in the description for those. Okay, it's part of my larger course, which you can go and check out. There'll be a link there as well. All right, enjoy the video. Hi there, in this video we're going to make shapes and more shapes and other shapes and it's a rectangle with a corner on it, there's a star with another star, it is Shape-tastic. Let's get in there now and learn how to do this properly in Photoshop. Alright, to get started, basically we're going to be using this little menu item here. So I click, hold and drop it down. Okay, so I just click, hold my mouse key down until I get these options. Let's start with the Ellipse tool. Okay, and what we're going to do is up the top here, you can pick a fill for your ellipse. So give it a click and then pick anything you like. If you want to pick a more custom color than just the random ones in here, you can click on this little kind of rainbow icon here. You get that color picker that we've used a few times. Okay, slide the hue up until you find something you want to use. Pick this one, click OK. Cool, and you can kind of just click anywhere up here to get rid of that fill drop down. Great, so what we want to do is click, hold and drag, okay, and you'll get kind of any old shape. So if I go to edit, step backwards, and what we want to do is, we did this with the rectangle marquee tool. Who remembers what key we hold down on our keyboard to get it to go like, to be a perfect circle? Yep, you remember, it's shift. Okay, so if I hold shift down, okay, it just kind of makes the height and width locked in. Okay, if you get it to a size and you're like, well, it's not quite right, you don't have to keep going back. You can go to edit, transform path and go to scale. Okay, and the same thing, hold down shift on one of these edges, drag it out and you can make it nice and big. I'm making mine super big. Something like that. When you're finished, hit return on your keyboard, otherwise it doesn't work. So hit return, yeah, that's how to draw an ellipse. The cool thing about using this particular tool here, they're called shape paths, is that they are scalable, they are vector, they can go up and down in size, no problem. Let's look at some of the other shapes. We're going to use a rectangle. It seems pretty boring, okay, but hold on because there's some things you can do with it. So with it selected, pick a fill color. I'm going to use black in this case. There he is. Don't have that selected. Okay, so edit, step backwards. Okay, so don't worry about the color for the moment, or what you can do is, see this layers panel, you can click in this kind of like dark gray area that kind of makes sure nothing is selected. Now I can pick a fill color of black, black even. Cool. Stroke is the line around the outside. I'm going to turn it on just to show you. So I'm going to have a white line around the outside. It's going to be, say, 3 pixels, just for an example. I don't really want a stroke, but I want to show you how it works. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a rectangle kind of about here. Cool. And you're like, yeah, that's a rectangle, Dan. You can, what you've got to see is this properties over here. The cool thing about using this particular tool is that these can be adjusted. You can see that the stroke here can be made really thick. Oh, that's too thick. Okay. You can decide where the stroke sits, which is this option, I think here. Nope, it is this option, first one. So there's the inside of the square that is across you can see either side of that square, or this one is the outside of the square. I don't want any of them. Don't like you stroke. I'm going to click on it and I'm just clicking on the strokes, that little icon there, and see this little red line? That means no stroke, please. Okay, awesome. Other things you can do with rectangles, still not very exciting, is these corners here. So I am going, at the moment it's, yours is probably defaulted to this where it's got a dark gray box. Watch, click it. It's not really obvious, okay, but if you have it off, so it should look like this. And what I'm going to do is you can change the one particular corner. So I'm going to do, say, 20 pixels in this corner, hit return. And you can see I've got a 20 pixel radius. It's not probably big enough for you to see. 50 pixel radius. I'm going to zoom in so we can all see it together a little easier. The person editing this video is probably like, you should have done that earlier. You've had to move around. Anyway, so a nice little trick with this is, who knows what 50 pixels is? Like, it really depends on the image size. So what I find is quite useful is, see these little icons here? Pretty much all the icons in Photoshop, you can hover above them. See this like little hand with arrows? Click, hold and drag it to the right. You can see it goes up and you can see my little, this guy changing over here. Drag him back to go to a square, drag him back. You can lock them together. So when you do drag them all up, they all go together. All back to 0. What I want is, I just want this one to be a little bit rounded, and we're going to reshape it later on when we do our type. It's going to be that box there eventually. A couple other things we'll do is I'm going to zoom out, Command minus, and I want to do stars up in the corner, these guys here. Okay, so stars are not tricky, but watch this. Click and hold down. They come into this one called the polygon tool. Give them a click, and by default, okay, it's going to give me a polygon. I'm not even sure what shape that is. Pentagon? I want to say pentagon. And you can change the sides up here. I can have 10 sides, and now it's something I can't name. Let's go to undo. I'm using the shortcut, so edit step backwards is this one here. It's on a Mac, it's pretty crazy. It's Command Option Z, steps backwards. On a PC, it's Control Alt Z, just kind of steps backwards. Okay, so I use that quite a bit. I'm probably going to use that from now on in the course. If you see me going backwards and undoing, I'm just going to this option here, using my sneaky shortcut. Great, so what I want to do is I want a 5-sided star, but what I want to do is see this little cog here? Okay, before you start drawing, click on star. Play around with the inset. 50% is going to give you a traditional star. So this one here, you can undo it and just experiment. Have a little play around with the indents by, like, I quite like this one. If you get down to like 15 and then turn the sides up to 50, you get this kind of like starburst. That's quite a handy one for, I don't know. It's how I buy my wine. Okay, I look at the label and does it have lots of these gold stickers on it? I don't even read them, but it's how I buy my wine. With this layer selected, I'm going to click on the trash to get rid of it, and I'm going to get my star. So polygon tool, sides back to 5, click on the little cog, and I'm going to say 50%. If you go to 80%, they're going to be super spiky. You can smooth the edges of it as well. Just have a little experiment. We're just going to do a traditional star. Okay, I'm going to draw it out. And if you want it straight, okay, it's our magical key that we've done. We've used it a few times now because at the moment it's just going to be any old size. So I'm going to drag out and hold down the shift key. You see it kind of locks it into like more usable shapes. It's not straight up and down. I don't know why, but you can this way. Here we go. Eventually I got it. Okay, so hold shift and just kind of rotate it around until you get the kind of, it's locked it's into a symmetrical shape. That's what I want to say. Let's have a look at changing the color of this. So with this layer selected up the top here, I'm going to pick white. One thing is that, say this color disappears, it's probably because you're on your move tool. If you're on this layer on a move tool, it's great for moving around, but if you want to go back to shape it, okay, just have this tool selected, make sure that layer is selected, and this will pop back up. You could leave now because that's almost it for shape. So I'm going to look at some opacity because I want to recreate this kind of star effect and this thing here. So hang around. I'm actually going to draw that circle down there as well. So you can totally leave if you know how to change the opacity already. Yeah. So I want to transform this guy to make him smaller. Okay, so layer selected, edit, transform, scale. Now, what I'm going to do for the rest of this course is, that is a super long way. I'm going to use the shortcut, and it's this one here, free transform. It does a bit of all of these things. It does scale really easily. So I'm going to use Command T. Okay, you don't have to. You can come in here and use this version, but Command T is just a super good shortcut to learn. So it's Control T on a PC. So I'll hold Command T. Okay, and same thing, hold shift in the corners and I can resize it. So I want it to be about that, hit return. I want another version of it, so I'm going to right click it and I'm going to say duplicate layer. Polygon 2. Click OK. And what I'm going to do is the one at the bottom probably. Okay, so this guy's on top, this guy's on the bottom. I'm going to stretch him out using my super new shortcut. Ready? Command T. And I'm going to scale it out. So if I hold shift, okay, I can drag it out there, then I can grab anywhere but the center and try and line them back up. And that generally works. Another little shortcut I'm going to share with you. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape. As escape is the I didn't mean it. I'm going to go back to where it was. So I've still got two stars on top of each other. This bottom one though, I'm going to hit my Command T, Control T on a PC. Holding shift makes that come from the top left, okay? But if I hold shift and option on a Mac or alt on a PC, so look down your keyboard, hold shift, and if you're on a Mac, hold shift and option. If you're on a PC, hold shift and alt. And what it does is, can you see the difference? It resizes from the center. I don't want to like bamboozle you too much with shortcuts, so you don't have to. You can just line it up. Use shift and just line it up, but I want to make mine a bit bigger than it was, about there. Cool. Nothing really happens except this bottom one here. I want to lower the opacity. See the opacity slider here? I'm just going to lower it down until I find something I like. And I'm actually going to use the transform. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. And we've got drop shadows on that one. That's going to make it look nicer later on, but we're not there yet. Yeah, if I want to I'm going to resize this top one as well. Actually, I want both to go a little bit smaller. Holding down both those keys. Yep. I'm going to do the same thing for the circle. Okay, so this guy selected, my ellipse, I'm going to duplicate him. So right click, duplicate layer. You should give them a name. I'm going to be honest with you, I never bother unless I'm sending it to somebody that I need to impress. Okay, and I'm going to my Command T. I'm going to grab one of these side bits, hold Shift and Option on my Mac. Make it a bit bigger. And what I'm probably going to do is, I've got the big one on top. I'm going to put it underneath with it selected. I'm going to go over here and pick a new color. We're going to look at specific colors that might match the background in a later tutorial, but that's what I'm doing. So this guy's on top, this guy's underneath, and he's just a little bit bigger. You could play with the opacity of this one as well, because it looks kind of cool. Black bar here, I lower the opacity of lots of them just to kind of, I don't know, start showing through things. It's kind of cool when there's a bit of transparency going. Last thing I want to do is I want to get this, I want it to be longer. So I'm going to just use my Command T on a Mac, Control T on a PC, and just drag it out. And the cool thing about live shapes, can you see that corner is still preserved? It doesn't matter how long, it doesn't kind of distort. Okay, so I'm going to just drag it so it's off. Even past the edge, it doesn't matter. Enter on my keyboard to finish it, and I'm going to use it as a kind of a off page into the bleed type box. One other thing I want is a little circle down here. Okay, and I'm going to be lazy. Instead of drawing out an ellipse and giving it a color, I'm going to grab this guy. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to duplicate him. Yes, I'm going to give this one a name because you're watching me. Let's go for small circle. Okay, and I'm going to transform it, holding down my shortcut keys, grabbing anywhere but the center, and it's going to go down here somewhere. Okay. Ish. Hit return on your keyboard. That's our epic shape building video done. Let's get into the next video where we start adding type, and then we'll do drop shadows. Loads more to do, but let's do it in a following video. Bye now. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up really helps me in what I'm doing. Also consider subscribing to my YouTube channel because I release a video like this every week. Also know that this is part of my larger course. Okay, so this is like a free part of it. There's a larger course called Photoshop Essentials. So you could go check that out. There's a link in the description for that full course. Also know that there's exercise files. Those are free to download. Go check that out, link in the description. Another link in the description will be the cheat sheet. So I make it like a PDF cheat sheet for Photoshop with all the tips and tricks you can print off and stick next to your computer and be more awesome. Link in the description. Yeah, all right, that's enough. Hi, Data.